Anyone that's been watching the news anywhere in the country is aware that crime statistics, especially in our large cities, are on the move in the wrong direction for the most part. Law enforcement's been handcuffed, leashed, defunded. Lots of things have been happening. So general question is, what would you do to improve the status of law enforcement in this state? And the answer needs to not be general, it needs to be very specific.
So I think the first thing we have to do is we have to restore the confidence in our law enforcement because they feel like the community is not behind them. And I don't think that that's the case. I think our politicians have created this narrative that's not true. The next thing I think we need to do is we need to fund our police officers. And when I say fund, I mean all the things that they need for training, more weapons training, more psychological training. We need to get them care because I don't think people realize the stress that a police officer goes through day by day. And that stress needs to be taken care of through counseling. Those are the kind of things we need to fund. And the other thing we need to do is we need to restore their protections. It doesn't make sense to me that we send an officer out to do the most dangerous job and we've taken away qualified immunity from them. That's what we need to do. So those are the concrete things that we'll do on day one.
So I was raised by a reserve police officer who taught me to respect law and order. I have a pretty strong opinion about what's happening right now. It's disgusting and it's not right for our kids. Our kids cannot feel safe if crime is through the roof here in Colorado. And one of those things that's making crime so bad is we are the 4th highest in the country in recidivism. So that means repeat offenders are causing most of these crimes. We are number 1 in auto theft, number 1 in property crime, number 2 in fentanyl overdoses in the country. This is Colorado, not Chicago we're talking about. So I'd like to replace as many of the people as I can on the parole board. I'd like to replace the heads of leadership at public safety, corrections, and justice. I'd like to appoint, thank you. I will have the backs of law enforcement, as Danny said. We'll address truth in sentencing. So if a truck driver kills 4 people in a fiery crash and he gets sentenced to 110 years in prison, I'm not going to step in and say, okay, you got 10 years and go around the justice process. We've also got to address bail reform and this catch and release mentality that you can do a crime and be out of jail in 6 hours before the paperwork's even done. Those are the things I'm hearing from law enforcement. On the fentanyl side, we've got to cancel our status as a sanctuary state, which doesn't allow ICE. Yeah. Tactically, why that's important, it doesn't allow ICE agents and law enforcement to cooperate and deal with the problem on the southern border of Colorado. And then we've also got to go back to criminalizing fentanyl. All of it, any little bit. And then finally, we need a public education campaign about this weapon of mass destruction, fentanyl, because it's destroying our state and our communities and starting to kill a lot of our children here.